About a week before our wedding, Logan, my fiancé at the time, went on a little family trip with his parents. When he came back, something was off. He was acting distant, cold almost, and then he hit me with, "I think we should take a break." About a week before our wedding, Logan, my fiancé at the time, went on a little family trip with his parents. When he came back, something was off. He was acting distant, cold almost, and then he hit me with, "I think we should take a break." I didn't even flinch. Just smiled, handed him a folder, and said, "Well, that's funny, because I just found out a few things about that trip." The second he opened it and started reading, his face changed. He looked over at his parents like he'd just seen them for who they really were, pure anger in his eyes. "See, we were supposed to get married last month. Everything was already in motion. We'd locked in the venue, I had my dress picked out, invites had gone out, and the cake was already ordered. We'd spent months planning every little detail. The whole thing was happening right here in Savannah, Georgia, where we both live. I honestly thought things were going smoothly. Logan and I had been together for 3 years. I really believed he was the one. Sure, we weren't perfect, who is, but we didn't argue much. He made me laugh. We wanted the same kind of life. I was happy. His parents, though? Yeah, not so much. His mom, Eleanor, always looked at me like she was trying to figure out whether my shoes cost enough for her to even acknowledge me. And his dad, Franklin, barely said a word, unless he was bragging about his latest car or ranting about how soft kids are these days. Let's just say, they weren't exactly fans of mine. I don't come from money, and I work a regular job. I've never cared about country clubs or Ivy League degrees, and I'm pretty sure that rubbed them the wrong way. They thought Logan could do better. But every time I brought it up, he told me not to worry, that they'd warm up eventually. Spoiler, they didn't. So, a week before the wedding, Logan tells me his parents are whisking him away to Miami for a quick family getaway. No big reason. Just one last trip before tying the knot. It felt weird, like, the timing didn't make sense, but I didn't want to start an argument, so I told him it was fine. In hindsight, I should have known something was up. He was way too excited to get out of town. Barely even said goodbye when he left that Thursday. By Saturday night, I could feel it in my gut, something wasn't right. Turns out, my best friend Callie lives in Miami. Total coincidence. She works at this upscale bar downtown, the kind of place people go when they want everyone to know how much money they're spending. She called me right in the middle of her shift. "Hey," she said, "isn't Logan supposed to be getting married next weekend?" "Yeah," I said, "why?" "Well, I'm pretty sure I just saw him. With his parents. And some girl." And just like that, my stomach dropped. She told me they'd been sitting in one of the VIP sections all night, Logan, Eleanor, Franklin, and this blonde girl with a fake tan and a short dress. She didn't look like some random stranger who happened to wander by. It was clear she was with them. Callie said Eleanor and Franklin were treating her like royalty, laughing with her, chatting her up. And Logan? He wasn't exactly backing away, either. That's when it hit me, they weren't just on a last-minute trip. They were introducing Logan to someone else. Right before our wedding. They were trying to replace me. I don't remember much after that phone call. I just sat there on the couch, stunned. Completely still. And then came the anger. When I get mad, I don't scream. I get focused. Sunday morning, I started digging. Found a private investigator in Miami, someone who specialized in cheating spouses and shady relationships. I paid extra to have him trail Logan and his family until they left town. By Monday afternoon, I had the first set of photos. By Tuesday, I got video. By Wednesday, I had the full report. Dinner spots. Hotel bar. Poolside lounging. Shopping. More dinners. And at every stop, there was Logan, right next to that girl. Opening doors for her, laughing at her jokes, sitting way too close. And his parents? Just egging it on. One picture in particular stuck with me, Eleanor and Franklin walking ahead, hand in hand like they were proud of themselves, while Logan and that girl trailed behind, whispering and giggling like a couple of teenagers. I didn't tell anyone. Not yet. I just sat with it. And waited. Logan got back late Sunday night. Monday morning, Logan showed up at my place. I acted like nothing was wrong, offered him coffee, made small talk. Just played it cool. "How was the trip?" I asked. He barely said a word. Fidgety, couldn't sit still, and he wouldn't meet my eyes. Then he finally blurted it out, "I think we should take a break." I just stared at him. A break. Less than a week before our wedding. I didn't ask why. Didn't ask what suddenly changed. I just smiled, reached over, grabbed the folder off the table, and slid it across to him. That's funny, I said, because I just came across some interesting info about that little trip of yours. He opened it. At first, he looked confused, like he was trying to figure out what he was looking at. Then his face went pale. Real pale. I sat there and watched as he flipped through the pictures, again and again, like he thought maybe, just maybe, the images might look different the second or third time around. They didn't. That's when the front door creaked open. In walked Franklin and Eleanor like they owned the place, Eleanor with her planner tucked under her arm, and Franklin glued to his phone. Hope we're not too early, Eleanor chirped. We've got a lot to go over, Todd. Then she noticed the look on Logan's face. Then the folder. Then me, sitting there calmly sipping my coffee, watching it all unfold. No one said a word. For a solid minute, the room was just still. Finally, Logan broke the silence. What the hell is this? He snapped, but he wasn't talking to me. He was glaring at his parents. Franklin acted like he didn't hear. Eleanor let out a fake little laugh. Oh, don't be so dramatic. Logan looked back down at the photos, then at me. How did you even get these? I gave him a shrug. Does it really matter? You and your folks can sort out whatever this is. I'm done. And that's where things stand. No final decisions yet, but the wedding? Yeah, that's off, for now, at least. I haven't even told most of my friends or family. Still figuring out my next move. But watching Logan really realize, that his own parents tried to swap me out for someone they thought was a better fit, just 5 days before our vows? That was the first time I'd felt halfway decent in days. The moment I said I was done, the whole room seemed to freeze. The silence got thick, like fog settling in. And then Eleanor, as if nothing had happened, placed her planner down on the kitchen counter like we were still about to discuss flower arrangements or seating charts. Let's not overreact, she said in that syrupy, fake nice tone like I was the one being difficult. Those pictures don't mean anything. We just wanted Logan to meet some new people. That's all. I looked over at Logan. He was still staring at the folder, like he was trying to decode some secret message hidden in the images. New people? I repeated, louder than I meant to. A week before our wedding? You thought that was normal? Franklin finally looked up from his phone. Don't make this into a scene, he said flatly. We were thinking long term. We didn't want Logan settling down if there might be better options out there. I felt like the wind had been knocked out of me. Better options. Like I was a starter pack they could upgrade from. Logan stayed quiet. Still flipping through those photos, hoping the story would change if he just looked hard enough. His face was red now. Was it guilt? Shame? Anger? Maybe all of the above. You let them do this, I said to him. You went along with it. He finally looked up. It wasn't like that. Then what was it? I asked. You figured you'd take a new girl for a spin while your fiancé stayed home finishing the guest list? He rubbed his forehead, looking like I was the problem now. I just didn't want to start a fight, he mumbled. I wanted to keep the peace. That made me laugh. Loud. Sharp. Not even on purpose, it just came out. Keep the peace? I repeated. You could have just told me you didn't want to get married. Instead, you hopped on a plane to Miami to see if someone better came along. Eleanor dropped onto the couch like she owned the place. This is getting ridiculous, she said, rolling her eyes. We didn't tell you because we knew you'd overreact. You're always so emotional. Look at how you're acting. I don't even remember standing up, but next thing I knew, I had the folder in hand. I pulled out one of the photos, Logan and the girl, Haley, according to the report, and held it right in Eleanor's face. This is ridiculous? I snapped. You brought her on a trip with your son and tried to replace me. Do you even hear yourself? Franklin stood and straightened his jacket like he was about to head into a board meeting. You should calm down, he said. No reason for this to get messy. And that's when something inside me shifted. Oh, it's already messy, I said. And trust me, it's about to get worse. I didn't even mean to say it. It just came out. But the second the words were in the air, I knew I wasn't bluffing. Because the T Eleanor was, I still had the rest of the private investigator's report sitting in my email inbox. What I printed was just the tip of the iceberg. Receipts. Room charges. All the messy little details. Turns out, I had even more than just the photos and a report. Flight records. Room charges. And a video, clear as day, of Eleanor and Haley sitting at the hotel bar. Eleanor leaned in and told her, word for word, once this little wedding blows over, you and Logan will have all the time in the world. I hadn't shown that part to Logan yet. Or anyone else. But in that moment, I started thinking, maybe I should. Logan ran his hand through his hair, like he was trying to scrub the guilt off his scalp. Look, he mumbled, I don't even like Haley. My mom invited her. It wasn't my idea. Oh yeah? I asked. So did you tell her to leave? Did you tell your parents no? He didn't say a word. That silence told me everything I needed to know. And then Eleanor, bold as ever, turned to Logan like I wasn't even there. Like I was just some background noise she didn't need to bother with. Enough, she said. Don't let her ruin everything. We can still fix this. Just tell her you didn't mean it. Get her to calm down, and we'll move forward. She really said that. Out loud. In front of me. Like I was a toddler throwing a tantrum, not the woman they'd just tried to sabotage. And that's when Logan finally snapped out of it. Mom. Stop. Eleanor blinked, like she couldn't believe he'd actually spoken back. What? She asked. Just stop, Logan said again, quieter this time. You're making it worse. Oh, I'm making it worse? Eleanor fired back. I've spent months cleaning up after her terrible taste. Do you even realize how embarrassing this wedding has been for us? The guest list. The food. The decorations. None of it meets our standards. I swear, my head was about to explode. I looked Logan dead in the eye. And this is okay with you? You're still going to stand by them? Still nothing. Then my phone buzzed on the table. I glanced down. A text from Callie. Girl. I just overheard Haley at the bar. You're not gonna believe what she's saying. Call me ASAP. I locked eyes with Eleanor. I think it's time I started making a few phone calls, I said, standing up. Actually, I think I'll be making a lot of them. That's when Franklin finally spoke again. Let's not be hasty, he said. There's no need to make this a public thing. Too late. Because that's when the idea hit me. If Haley was still in Miami running her mouth, I wanted to hear exactly what she was saying. And if Eleanor and Franklin thought this would all stay hush-hush? They had no idea who they were dealing with. I didn't call Callie right away. Instead, I just stood there, taking it all in. The three of them sitting in my living room like this was just another Monday morning. Logan looked guilty. Eleanor looked irritated. Franklin pretended none of this involved him. And all I could think was, what else were they hiding? If Haley was still out there talking, and Callie thought it was important enough to text me during her shift, then this ran even deeper than I thought. I turned to Logan. How long have you known Haley? He shook his head. I told you. I didn't know her before the trip. Eleanor let out an exaggerated sigh. Oh, please. Stop acting like this is a courtroom. No one did anything wrong. But Logan, he didn't look so sure anymore. I grabbed my phone and walked into the kitchen. Hit Callie's name. She picked up on the first ring. Hey, she said, no greeting needed. You need to hear this. Haley's been here all afternoon, bragging about how she's finally sealing the deal. I stayed quiet. And, she went on, she told her friend that your wedding was never supposed to happen. Apparently, Eleanor promised her that if she got close enough to Logan on the trip, they'd handle the rest. Handle the rest? I echoed. Yeah. Like, end the wedding. Replace you. Haley's been telling anyone who'll listen that she was flown to Miami specifically to break you two up. My heart started pounding. This wasn't some last-minute plus one, Callie said. They planned it. I hung up without saying goodbye. Walked back into the living room, set my phone down on the table, and looked straight at Eleanor. So, I said, how much did you pay her? She blinked, caught off guard. Excuse me? Haley. How much did you pay her to come on that trip and throw herself at Logan? Franklin shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Logan rubbed his face like he was trying to wake himself up from a bad dream. And Eleanor? She smiled. You really are dramatic. I just got off the phone with someone who heard Haley lay the whole plan out. She said you told her the wedding would be called off, that Logan would be single. So again, how much did you pay her? No one said a word. Then Logan turned to Eleanor and asked, almost under his breath, wait, did you? And Eleanor, God bless her arrogance, didn't even deny it. She gave a little shrug. We gave her a bit of incentive. Nothing major. A few gifts. Some spending money. Then she had the nerve to say, why are we acting like this is some big scandal? I just stood there, stunned. They paid her. They paid another woman to help destroy my relationship 5 days before the wedding. And Logan, he just sat there, like he was finally realizing how deep the rabbit hole went. I thought you invited her as a family friend, he said. Eleanor rolled her eyes. Please. You didn't exactly mind her company. And that's when Logan turned pale. That's also when I decided I wasn't done yet. Oh, and just so you know, I said, crossing my arms, Haley's been flapping her gums all day. If I really wanted to, I could spread that little story far and wide. I leaned in a bit. Post it online. Send it to every venue we booked. Maybe even let the wedding guests in on why everything's suddenly off. Franklin cleared his throat, trying to sound calm. There's no need for that. Let's not do anything drastic. Drastic? I repeated, my voice climbing. You think I'm the one being drastic? Your whole family tried to swap me out like I was a bad dress a week before my wedding. And now I'm the problem? And right on cue, like life wanted to toss in one final insult, my phone buzzed again. Another text from Callie. Just found out Haley's still in town. And she's asking when Logan's coming back. I turned to Logan. Did you know she stuck around? He shook his head so fast it looked like it might pop off. No, I didn't. I haven't spoken to her since the trip, I swear. But suddenly, all the pieces were clicking into place. Eleanor had brought Haley in to mess with Logan's head. Probably promised her more than just some shopping money. Haley clearly thought this was going somewhere. And Logan? Either he was lying to my face, or he really was that clueless. Neither answer made him look good. Tell me the tea, Eleanor, I said, locking eyes with him. Before Miami, did you ever even want to go through with the wedding? He hesitated. Then finally muttered, maybe. I wasn't sure. And they kept telling me maybe I should see what else is out there. I just nodded, slowly. Cool, I said. Good to know. Because that's all I needed. This wasn't just about Eleanor and Franklin being manipulative snobs. This was about Logan sitting there, letting it all happen, and calling it keeping the peace. And Haley? She wasn't some accidental plus one. She was part of the plan. And clearly, she wasn't done playing her part. Because if she was still hanging around Miami waiting for Logan to come running back, then Eleanor's little matchmaking mission wasn't finished. But here's the thing, they weren't the only ones with a plan anymore. I had proof. I had motive. And now, they knew I knew. Which meant it was finally time they got what they had coming. I didn't sleep that night. Just laid there, wide awake, replaying every little moment. The trip. The lies. The fact that Logan actually admitted he wasn't even sure about marrying me before all of this started. Suddenly, everything made sense. That family trip wasn't about relaxation. It was a setup from the beginning. By morning, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. First, I made some calls. I forwarded the full PI report to Callie. Then I texted Maya, my maid of honor, and told her to meet me at the coffee shop down the block. I needed backup. You sure you're ready for this? Maya asked. Oh, I'm past ready, I said. It's time they explained themselves, in front of everyone. And that's how I ended up inviting Logan, Eleanor, Franklin, and yes, Haley, to the wedding venue the next day. The actual venue. The one we were supposed to get married at in a matter of days. I told them it was urgent, that we needed a last-minute planning session for the ceremony. Eleanor, being Eleanor, was thrilled at the idea of more control. She had no clue what was coming. By noon, they were all there. Venue staff were still moving chairs and laying out decorations like this wedding was still a go. It felt surreal, watching everything unfold like nothing was wrong, even though my entire relationship was about to detonate. Haley waltzed in last, dressed like she was auditioning for The Real Housewives of Savannah. Short white dress. Sky-high heels. Makeup like she was heading to a Vegas club. When she spotted me, she smirked. Didn't realize this was a group meeting, she said loud enough for everyone to hear. Yeah, I replied, thought we should clear the air. We all sat around one of those big reception tables. Logan looked like he hadn't slept. Franklin looked like he didn't want to be there. Eleanor looked smug. And Haley? She looked like she was already picking out china patterns. And me? I opened my laptop, connected it to the venue's projector, and brought up the PI report. First slide, Logan and Haley lounging by the pool. Second, Eleanor and Haley sipping cocktails at the bar. Third, Haley kissing Logan on the cheek while Franklin stood just a few feet away, watching. The room went quiet. Then I hit play on the video. Eleanor's voice echoed off the walls, clear as day. Once this little wedding blows over, you and Logan will have all the time in the world. When it ended, I turned around to face them all. Anyone want to explain that? Eleanor was the first to crack. Oh, grow up, she scoffed. You're making this into some big scandal. Nothing happened. Logan didn't cheat. Haley's just a friend. A friend you paid, I said. We know. Haley's been running her mouth at every bar in Miami. Half of South Beach knows your little plan. Haley tossed her hair. Well, I wouldn't say half. Then she grinned and added, but yeah, it wasn't exactly a secret. Your little wedding was never going to happen. Logan deserves someone who fits in. Someone with class. She said that. Out loud. Like I wasn't even there. Like I hadn't spent 3 years loving a man whose entire family was planning my replacement. Maya had been quiet the whole time, just sitting there, taking it all in, but right then, she let out this dry, sarcastic laugh and muttered, Jesus Christ. Then Logan stood up. For a split second, I actually thought he might say something in my defense. That maybe, just maybe, he'd finally grow a spine. But nope. He looked at Eleanor. Then at Haley. Then at me. And all he said was, I think we should all just go our separate ways. That was it. And in that moment, it hit me like a brick, he was never going to stand up for me. Not now. Not ever. This whole mess? It wasn't just Eleanor's doing. Logan was in on it, too. Maybe he didn't hatch the plan, but he watched it unfold. He let it unfold. And he never once tried to stop it. He wanted out, and his parents handed him the escape hatch. I closed my laptop, slid it into my bag, and stood up. Well, I said, this is the last time any of you will ever see me. Good luck explaining all of this when people start asking why the wedding's off. And with that, I walked out. The second I stepped outside, Maya was right behind me. You handled that like a damn queen, she said. Seriously. You should have slapped someone, but that was even better. About 10 minutes later, Callie called. You are not gonna believe this, she said. Haley's already posting on Instagram. Like, right now. Acting like she and Logan just got engaged. She wasn't even exaggerating. Haley was using hashtags like #FutureMisses and #upgrade. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because at that point, what else can you do? By the end of the day, word was already spreading. People started texting, asking why the wedding had been cancelled so suddenly. Eleanor tried spinning it as mutual differences, but that lie didn't hold up long. Haley couldn't shut her mouth. By the next week, everyone knew. And the fallout? Oh, it was delicious. Eleanor and Franklin lost a bunch of friends. Turns out, people don't love finding out they were invited to a wedding where the groom's parents tried to bribe another woman into replacing the bride. It's just, not a good look. Logan? He stuck it out with Haley for about 3 weeks. She bailed the second she realized the lifestyle she'd been promised was a total fantasy. No wedding. No social ladder. No money. Just Logan. And his personality, which, in hindsight, has all the depth of a damp paper towel. Haley got roasted online. Callie may or may not have helped make sure the right Miami stories found the right ears. And me? Honestly, it hurt. It hurt more than I wanted to admit. For a long time, I kept replaying everything in my head, wondering how I missed the signs, how I didn't see it coming, how Logan let it all go so far, how Eleanor and Franklin genuinely believed they could pull off some soap opera level plot and get away with it. But once the dust started to settle, something weird happened. I felt calm. I wasn't married to a man who didn't actually love me. I wasn't stuck with a family that looked down on me, like I wasn't good enough. And instead of spending that weekend crying into a glass of wine in my old wedding dress, I spent it with the people who actually loved me. We threw the most ridiculous non-wedding party you could imagine. Champagne. Karaoke. We even dragged out the wedding cake and ate it with forks, straight from the top tier. And somewhere around midnight, while we were laughing and singing off-key, I realized something. I wasn't sad anymore. I was free. And honestly, that felt better than any wedding ever could.